Well, good evening, Panther fans, and welcome to tonight's edition of the PrimeSTAR Home Health Coaches Show. I'm Ben Hackler here with head coach Lee Doty of the Shillington Panthers. Coach, how you feeling tonight?
Yeah, doing good, man. Appreciate you guys having me.
Well, it's good to have you back. Coach had a miss last week, and me and Anna did the best we could. But
I heard it was great.
but always good to have you here to talk a little football tonight. And, Coach, we've got some things we want to get through. We're going to talk about the Neville game. We're going to talk about Richwood this weekend. But you just finished your non-district schedule, and I think a lot of people have been asking you, I've heard them ask you and have been asking us, where we are in terms of size of school and what the future looks like for Shillington playing in 3A and when that might happen of us moving up, moving out. Any thoughts or any kind of thing you can tell folks as far as like what the future looks like as far as where we might be in the next 4 or 5 years?
Well, I mean, they probably know as much as I do about it. So, our numbers, I think we turned in only 16 more this time than we did 2 years ago. Our growth is going to be the elementary school and the middle school, when that happens. I believe we'll stay where we are possibly 2 more years. I'll say this, we'll be 3A. I don't know if that means we'll play in Division III or Division II in the playoffs, but I think we'll be 3A, and I think we'll be well under that 4A number. But, I don't really know. I mean, there's nothing coming out from Baton Rouge about it. The people that know don't know.
Don't really know.
So, we're just all kind of sitting around, we'd love to know so we can go ahead and schedule, and try and get this thing rolling for the next season. But I can't really tell you anything official or even anything I've heard because I've heard nothing. But, our numbers are only 16 more this time than it was last time. Now, the next time it's going to be a good bit more, and then the next time it'll be a good bit more.
Steady growth.
And I'm sure that this will be the last cycle that we'll be in 3A. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Like I said, several folks have just asked, and it's kind of an ongoing conversation, so I thought, let me just ask the guy that might know. Yeah. You sound like the rest of us.
Right.
Well, Coach, tonight, before we jump into the Neville game, we do want to recognize one senior who will be our team captain this Friday night against Richwood. And, Coach, who is that?
Well, he was our team captain last week against Neville. Chris Pearson, come on down, man. Chris served as our captain last week, and Chris plays tight end for us, also plays basketball. Tremendous student, tremendous citizen, just such a good guy. I think there's nobody in our school that say anything bad about Chris Pearson. And just glad he's part of our team, and he represents us great, on and off the fields, on and off the courts, and couldn't be happier with this guy right here. So glad to have him, and he was our captain last week. Let's give Chris Pearson a hand.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, well, Coach, let's talk about the Neville Tiger game, a game the Panthers come up short against the Tigers 28-21. Haven't had a few days now to kind of look back at the film. And before we get into specifics, just give me some initial thoughts as you look back on Friday night.
Well, I think, first of all, I'm so proud of our kids. I'm proud of our coaching staff. I'm just so proud of how we competed. I'm so proud of how we prepared that week. Our kids played with no fear, and I think that was great. Going on the road against a 5A team, they have twice the numbers we do, and just being in that environment is good for our kids. And the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but I think we've proved here 2 out of the last 3 weeks, we can play with anybody. And so, that's kind of what we've been trying to do is play these bigger schools and kind of get used to the competitions and the environment. But I won't take anything away from our kids, how they competed. And, that week leading up to that game, you could tell our kids were extremely confident that they could go there and compete. There was no fear. And I think we've turned that corner now. And so, like I said, 4A, 5A, whatever, I think we can compete with anybody. And just extremely proud of our kids.
Yeah, well, Coach, as you say that, I was looking back last year when we had the same conversation after the game against Neville last year. One of the things you had said going into the Neville game was that it was really a week that our kids needed to grow up and quit using being young as an excuse. And it sounds like this year that wasn't an issue at all.
No, I mean, our guys, we grew up, when you play in Evangel and Ash and, and then Tioga, which is going to end up being a great win. For us, because those guys may not lose another game, so they may end up being 8-2, 9-1. So the PowerPoint's off of that, and then Washita comes in, and this is their best team in years. And, we held our own.
Right.
We've competed. And, if we played Ash again, that would be a lot more competitive than it was in the Jamboree. So just proud of our kids. And but I think we're a lot further ahead than we were last year at this time. We came out of this 3-2 and, pretty healthy. We're banged up, bruised up like everybody else is. But we feel really good about our football team, and just know that if we can stop making some of the mistakes that we make and just do some of the fundamental things that we're not really doing really good right now, we're going to be a hard team to deal with.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you guys fall behind in the game again. You fall behind 14-0, and I think there were a few folks who were kind of like, uh-oh, this might be a troublesome night. But you guys rally back, and by halftime, it's a tie ball game. You go into the half tied. What was it for your team? Was there something that was said, or was it a leadership moment where somebody said, hey, it's not over yet? Because you rally back, and you don't let them get the momentum going into the half.
Well, our kids don't ever think we're out of the game, and I think that's just a thing that's been built in over the several years, the culture. We just don't think we're ever out of the game. The main thing we says don't quit playing. Something good's going to happen. And, we had some good things that happened to us. Some of them we took advantage of. Some of them we didn't. But the rally cry was don't quit.
Yeah.
Keep playing hard and something good's going to happen. And I tell them before every game something bad's going to happen too,
right.
But we're a good enough football team to overcome it, and I think we proved that in the first half.
Yeah, well, offensively, it seemed like the scheme was to attack on the edges. You ran a lot of the pitch, a lot of the reads off the edges. Was that the approach going in, and what had you guys seen that you thought maybe we'd get some success on the edges?
Well, their two best football players play on the edge. Those two strong safeties, that's the two best football players on that football team. And, we worked on double teaming them guys in practice all week with our wide sweeps and those type of things. And we did a good job of mixing it up and getting on those guys and staying on those guys. And, our running backs ain't bad either.
Not at all.
If we can get outside, we got some speed, to get to the edge. And it just, man, they had it crammed up in there, from tackle to tackle. There just wasn't a whole lot of anything in there. Those guys are big and fast and strong on that defensive line, and they kind of, it was tough to get any movement in there. So, the plan was to try to get outside, and we did a good job.
Well, Coach, the other thing that kind of emerged in this game was that the passing game, really, especially in the first half and then in the second half, you kind of got put into some positions where you had to throw. And we saw big catches by Downs and by Park Smith. And it really kind of seemed to spark your offense with some plays. The play going into the half will be one I think we're going to look back on and say, hey, that was a play that was actually a big play where a guy stepped up. Park Smith goes up in the end zone and takes the ball really away from two defenders. Talk about that moment and kind of what it meant for the sideline to see that play made.
I mean, I think this is my 9th year here. For 9 years we've been looking for somebody that'll go high point to football. And, it happened the other night. So it was good to see. We've had some big, good receivers, but, going into a game like this and, you needed somebody to make a play. And, that was the first time we've made a play like that in a long time. So that was great to see. As far as throwing the football, I think, let's see, J-Rob had 3 touchdown passes last week. The week before he had 2 this time. I mean, he can throw the football.
Yeah.
If we can protect him, we're going to continue to do that because you got Park Smith, you got Downs, you got Hickman, you got Noah. Cullen Barnett has great hands, so we got guys to get the ball too. So that's going to continue to evolve. And we're excited about it.
Well, Coach, and really for our offense, which is a run-based scheme, I don't think there's any way for anybody to look at us and say, hey, they're not a run-based team. But to be able to have those guys on the edge that can catch the football, go get it, and even now beginning to take the top off of some defenses, how does that help your play calling on the sidelines?
Well, I think it helps tremendously because, in years past, nobody's really respected it.
Right.
Even though we've had some guys, but now we're actually calling it, and it's happening, and now 6 yards or something. So, we held them guys to 3 yards of carry. I just thought that was outstanding. Connor Justice, he'll be our player of the week this week on defense. We'll see him in a minute, but played really good. His fits were really good. Our defensive linemen did their job to allow him to do his job. And we did a whole lot better. Kate Hollingsworth played really good as well, coming up and fitting and making some big tackles for us. So we're good right there. I mean, we're getting better. And I just thought our run defense was good. We still had some breakdowns in the secondary. I don't know if you noticed this. We have trouble with 6'4" receivers. And it seems like everybody's got one.
Yeah.
So, that guy's a good receiver and made some plays for us. We had a busted coverage on one play, but, it was 3 plays in that game defensively that really hurt us. But other than that, I thought we went toe-to-toe with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think William and I even mentioned on the air Friday night that really the secondary is really beginning to kind of find their own. You're getting some guys back, but you've got about 6 guys back there right now that can contribute and that are making plays. I thought Keenan Green coming downhill against the run game was probably the strongest I'd seen him look all year.
Well, I mean, he's got a little confidence now. And, when you go into a place like that and you play good, you start feeling good. And, when you play good, you feel good, and you feel like you look good, you're going to go out and then you're going to start making plays. And we got to turn it up a little bit more there to make this run that I think we can make. We get better there, then we're going to be pretty daggum hard to beat.
Yeah, well, Coach, the game goes down to the fourth quarter, and you had said all week long, we just got to get to the fourth quarter. And it goes to the fourth quarter, and you guys are down 28-14. You punch it in, 28-21. Great onside kick. That ball bounced just like you thought it would. And you guys recover it back. 3:01 left in the fourth quarter. And I just wanted to ask you this one question. So there's a couple of schools of thoughts on what teams do after a quick turnover like that or in that moment. With 3 minutes on the clock, I think you still had one timeout at least in your pocket. But the schools of thought are, one, you run your basic offense, and let's just see what happens. Kind of run the clock down, try to score with as little time as possible. The other school of thought is to take the shot real quickly and kind of catch them off guard. What goes into making that decision for you guys on the sideline?
Well, I think we'd felt really good. We'd getting some pass interference calls. Devin was killing them out there, and they were basically tackling him on the line. And, if you can get a free 15 yards,
yep.
You do it. We broke down in protection there. And, looking back, maybe we should have just kept trying to run the ball and get down there and, get it to where we can take a couple shots at the end. But, for me, I told the kids all week, let's get it in the fourth quarter and give us a chance at the end of the game. Same thing I told them against Ouachita. They did exactly what we asked them to do. And we just we weren't able to complete the passes. I think maybe we'd be better off throwing it on the edge instead of over the middle. I think we've learned that lesson. That's twice. We threw it over the middle and got picked. So, we worked today some 2-minute stuff and, working the edges and stuff like that. But it's still a learning experience for us. And, I look at this, the first 5 games of the year is almost like preseason.
Right.
We're supposed to start district, and, we're going to play 10 more weeks of football now. We're going to go through week 15. And we'll look back at that drive right there and the one against Ouachita and say, what should we have done different?
Yeah.
And if it would have been easy, then we'd say, well, we're so good we ain't got to work on it. So, it's all going to work out week 15. You know what I mean? Week 15.
That's it, just trying to get to the end. Win the last one.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, let's talk about those players of the game brought to us by First Security Title of Monroe. Your offensive player of the game is?
J-Rob Breen. J-Rob, come on up here. I thought J-Rob did a great job. He led us in passing, of course, and also led us in rushing. And the last 2 games out, he's had really good stats throwing the football, 5 touchdowns in 2 games. And I don't know how many times that's happened at Sterlington, but it hadn't been very many. But, he's doing a good job, lots of pressure on him, and he's handling it well. He also came back. We thought he broke his hand, but he came back in the next series and played, just like we always expected him to. He's a tough guy, and we're proud of him. But our offensive player of the game is J-Rob Breen. Appreciate you, J-Rob.
All right, Coach, well, who is your defensive player of the game?
Well, defensive player is Connor Justice. Come on up. We talked about him earlier today. Connor, he's already been on the show one time. Talked about how proud we are of him, what a fine young man he is. Had a great game the other night. Going to be in one of the academies. I've mentioned that before, but so happy about that. Just a great young man, fiery defensive football player, Also plays catcher on the baseball team. You got to be pretty tough to do that too. So, but our defensive player of the game is Connor Justice. Appreciate you.
Congratulations, Connor. He did have on his Air Force shirt tonight, Coach.
That's
I noticed
right.
that.
We're rooting for the Air Force Academy around our house.
Well, Panther fans, we're going to take a quick 60-second break, and we'll be back with more of the Coaches Show in just a moment.
Choose PrimeSTAR Home Health. We'll provide the best care for your patient or loved one. From managing chronic conditions to wound care and therapy, we specialize in a wide range of services. PrimeSTAR Home Health. We have the skill to heal and the spirit to care. Choose PrimeSTAR Home Health. We'll provide the best care for your patient or loved one. From managing chronic conditions to wound care and therapy, we specialize in a wide range of services. PrimeSTAR Home Health. We have the skill to heal and the spirit to care.
Marion State Bank. Rooted in education and athletics, Marion State Bank is committed to investing in the future through scholarships, sponsorships, and community support. We're empowering students and athletes to dream big and achieve more because their success is our success. Investing in our future, supporting education and athletics. Marion State Bank, rooted in community, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Panther fans, we're back here at the PrimeSTAR Home Health Coaches Show. And, Coach, this week, back at home at the Dale Ashley Field to take on the Richwood Rams. We talked briefly a moment ago. You sit at 3-2 after this, again, another challenging non-district schedule. But as you begin to head into the district play, how are you feeling and kind of what are you looking for the next few weeks?
Well, I mean, we got to play and got to respect our opponent. And we have prepared for Richwood this week just like we prepared for Neville last week. It's homecoming at our place. So, that really hasn't been a big factor the past 2 days. It's been kind of low-key, and I don't think it's been a distraction at all. So, a team full of athletes. They look good on the hoof. They're better than they were last year, no doubt. And they can give you some problems if you're not prepared and ready to go. So we've talked all week about taking care of our homecoming this week. And looking forward to the game, though, no doubt about it.
Yeah, Coach, I wanted to ask you this because I think last week there was a lot of Panther fans that were like, how in the world do we get picked to be a homecoming opponent by someone like Neville? Now, I said on the air, looking at Neville's schedule, I think I would have chosen us over Ruston. I think if that's my options, I think that's the two. But when it comes to, for a coach, when you're trying to figure out where homecoming is going to fit, you want to be able to celebrate the past and to honor all the things that you've accomplished as a community. But how do you decide which game is going to be your homecoming game?
Well, sometimes you just got to go sit in front of your principal and let her tell you what game it's going to be. Okay. And, that works for me. That way I say, well, that sounds great, you know. And, you don't want it early in the year where all the girls' makeup will melt off of them. And you want it to be a little bit cooler, but you don't really want it at the very end when you're trying to get ready for playoffs. Yeah. So, we had one option, we thought, and it's before fall break too, so that works out really good for us. So, but there's a lot of ladies involved in homecoming, a lot of them, and I have tried to just distance myself from every bit of it. So if this is when they want to have homecoming, I'm all for it. So
so if you were to write a book to young men, this would be a great piece of wisdom.
Stay out of it. Just stay out of it and let them have it when they want to have it because it's going to happen. Every football team has homecoming.
Yeah.
So this is our week.
There it is. Well, Coach, you mentioned the Rams. They do come in at 1-3, and I believe they had a week off last week. And so they come in with 3 losses, but I was going back today and was looking at some of the film and some of the storylines. They've really been in a position in every ball game to be competitive and to be there at the end, to be with an opportunity to win. What stands out to you about this year's team versus last year as you look at the film?
I think they have a better offensive line than they did. Their quarterback's got a year under his belt, a big, tall kid, by the way, that can really throw it. Defensively, they play extremely hard for them down there, and they have some special teams that they've always had special teams issues, but this year looks like they kind of got them straightened out, and they're a well balanced football team, no doubt. They also had last week off, so any bumps and bruises they have, they're 100% should be over them, and they've been able to work on us for 2 weeks, so. we expect a battle.
Coach, when you look at their offense, mentioned the quarterback, receiver-wise, what are we looking at? Tailback, I mean, is there familiar guys there? I haven't been able to see a roster yet.
The tailback looks like the ones they've always had, the bowling ball built kid, and hard to tackle. And if he gets a step on us, we're not going to catch him. I'm just going to tell you, he can really run. The quarterback's a big, tall kid. He's got a great arm. They like to throw the short passing game, but they will throw it over the top. They want to run the football. They want to establish that. And, they got a whole bunch of different formations. So we've worked a whole lot on alignment and assignment this week with our defense. But a good-looking football team. I mean, they're definitely going to look the part when they get off the bus.
Well, Coach, for your offense, where do you see some opportunities for us on offense to take advantage?
We're going to just try to do what we do, and we're working this week on getting better at us, cutting down on the penalties, cutting down on having to call timeout to get lined up. We've worked extremely hard on that the last 2 days. Just those type of things are what we're working on, and we're going to try to open it up a little bit and get them guys out of the box because they're going to have 8 in the box and probably try to play man with us or too deep look, and so we've been working hard on some things, and hopefully we'll be able to move the football and put some points on the board.
Well, Coach, for your defense, what do you see as keys defensively for being able to shut down the Ram offense?
Just understanding the formation. Just understanding the formation. This formation is this formation is that, and understanding the formation and what they like to do out of those formations. When you got, 30 of those formations, you got to figure out we're going to treat this one the same as we treat that one.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of board work for the coaches this weekend, and trying to decipher, these are all, we're going to call all these trips, we're going to call all these this and so forth. So, aligning up, alignment and assignment, lining up right and play fast, and, let's go see what happens.
Well, Coach, throughout the district, I believe we've got 4 district games in front of us, and correct me if I'm wrong, but basically you'll see a similar offense each of the next 4 weeks, correct?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see anybody line up and
not until you get to
and bring it at us until week 10, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, Coach, as you look at this week and looking forward, what are the areas you'd say, hey, these are the areas we've got to improve, and if we're going to get to the next level and be able to finish in Week 15, here are the 4 things we've got to make sure we're growing in?
Well, we continue to get better at special teams. I thought we were pretty good the other night, except, on one kickoff. But I thought other than that, we were pretty good on special teams. But we got to continue to get better. We've made some changes on our kickoff return, guys. We got some guys back there to catch it and can go, so we owe it to them to get people that's going to get out there and block. And, we worked some on that this week, excited about, the opportunities there. But we got to keep getting better at special teams. We've got to keep getting better at tackling, of course. And we usually do throughout the year. We become a better tackling team. So I'm hoping that history repeats itself. The one good thing, last week we didn't fumble. We didn't put the ball on the ground, and we didn't lose one, I should say. So that's good,
Yeah.
Not fumbling ball on the opening drive. That was the first time, the first 5 out of 6 contests we had, we put the ball on the ground the first drive. 5 out of 6 contests. So not doing it last week, even though we didn't score on the first drive. It was a big shot in the arm for us. So, stop putting the ball on the ground. We've gotten better at that. These penalties and not being able to line up, that's killing us right now. We got to get better at that. But when we do, we're going to be okay.
Well, Coach, good luck this week, and I hope you get to enjoy some of homecoming. And
oh, yeah.
As the ladies take care of their part and you guys take care of yours, it'll be a great night for the Panthers.
It will be. Also, we wrapped up our JV season last night, and we were undefeated with our JV bunch. That includes Neville, Ouachita, West Ouachita, some big schools. I was real proud of how those guys played and finished up. Also, want to talk about our sponsors, man.
Yeah.
Just appreciate you so much, digging in your pocket and doing these things for us. The people that are providing our meals on Thursday, very appreciative. You know, and the people that are helping with the broadcast. You know, I think last week, I don't know, maybe it was week 4 somewhere. I think we had 11,000 people or something like that views. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're going to keep working on that, keep getting it better as well. So we appreciate all that, and just want to shout out there to Mr. Ronnie Lucius, who made the hardest hit of the game last week.
Yeah.
And so we're proud to see him up and about. So
yeah. I think we got more questions about Mr. Ronnie than we did about the game.
Well, I mean, he's very important, and so is that little lady sitting next to him.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, you know, we're excited about this and excited about what's to come, and hopefully we can go out there and do what we do.
All right. Well, Panther fans, homecoming 2025 at Dale Ashley Field this Friday night, 7 o'clock against the Richwood Rams. You can join us right here on YouTube or on the radio at 92.3 FM The Ranch. We'll replay this show at 6:15, and the pregame show will start at 6:45, and then we'll get you to kick off right at 7. Coach, final words, and then we'll sign off.
Hey, I'm expecting a big crowd. You know, I've had a bunch of people contact me about tailgating, and a lot of folks saying they're coming. So we're looking forward for a big crowd, and hope to see you there. Go Panthers.
All right, Panther fans, hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Friday night for Panthers versus Rams at Dale Ashley Field.
Come visit McDonaldland this summer and try Grimace Island's newest thick volcanic shake. So get the new Mount McDonaldland shake with one of 6 souvenirs when you order the McDonaldland meal.